Thank you. Thank you, Professor Dagu. Thank you, Professor Alfredo. Thank you, Professor Patricia, and the University of Valladolid. My name is Fahd Beddar. In Arabic, Fahd Beddar. I am going to talk about diet in Algeria, dietary recommendation in Algeria. Algeria is the largest country in Africa with an area of approximately 2 million square kilometers. In terms of population, Algeria has approximately 45 million inhabitants concentrated in the northern coast area. In terms of geography, Algeria has mountains, has coastlines, where 80% of the population concentrated in the coastline, and have desert. In the coastline, in the mountains, in the desert, has the people or your religions, cultures, and cuisines. But in Algeria, has a frank social problem. In 2023-24, 5.5% of the population is poor, according to the World Bank. 12% of children suffer chronic malnutrition, according to World Health Organization and according to UNICEF. 9% of children are not in school, and 19% of the global population have no recognized formal education, according to UNICEF. And 24% of population is at risk of social exclusion. Algeria has a frank social problem. And because of the above, Algeria has many nutritional problems. And in my opinion, the most important are anemia, malnutrition, and food insecurity in refugee camps. About malnutrition, according to the FAO, the percentage of malnutrition has increased in the last years. Between 2000 and 2014, it increased from 6.6 to 7.7%. And in Algeria, there are the news nutritional problems. There is an increase from cardiovascular disease and cardiovascular risk factors. Look at the increase in cardiovascular risk factors, for example, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, in the adults, but in young people. Look at the main foodstuffs in both the midline East and North Africa. One of the main ones being cereals, and look at the increase in sugars and sweeteners in food in the last years. But in Algeria is not all is bad, not is bad. We have tasty food. We have tasty food, but is mainly based in pasta, meat, and fat. For example, berboucha, it's like couscous. Shorba frik, it's like harira. Rishta, pasta. And burek, pasta and meat. But we have typical Algerian food are made of vegetables. For example, shleta ou hmis, vegetables. For example, shakshuka, vegetables. I look this up and I am hungry. Okay, Algeria's nutrition problem is clear. But what is not clear are the dietary recommendations from Algeria. There are no clear recommendations for Algeria, but there are clear recommendations for general population groups in other African countries. If there are nutritional recommendations and work plans for special population, such as refugee camps, population in the desert, for example, a strategic plan for Algeria, or for example, FAO plan for Sahrawi population. I have based my recommendation on general recommendation from WHO and FAO. But where are the recommendations from Algeria? Where? What are the recommendations for Algeria? Well, why the population doesn't follow a balanced diet in Algeria? Why the population doesn't follow dietary recommendation in Algeria? I think it is because there are ignorance, there are no clear government recommendation, no food education, no food dietary education, and it's important, low social economic level. As there is no consensus on a specific dietary recommendation for Algeria, I have developed recommendation according to the WHO and FAO. Practically all the recommendation is the same, if all age, but some peculiarities, some each groups from some each age. In the children, number one, fruits and vegetables. I think it's very important, and I think it's not a problem, because in Algeria, in the North Africa, there is a lot of fruit and vegetables. Whole grain cereals, if possible. And dairy, I think it's very important. And I think there is also not a problem, because there is a lot of in the North Africa. And we need to incorporate land proteins, such as chicken, fish, eggs, and legumes. In adolescence, the previous recommendation can be maintained, but in this group, other sources of proteins, for example, nuts, can be added. It can also increase the consumption of healthy fats in the fish, and healthy fats, for example, olive oil. In the adults, the dietary recommendation of the previous group are maintained, and in the older adults, we recommended a strong emphasis on about hydration and the consumption of dairy products. And the consumption of easily digestible proteins is very important. Finally, this slide provides general recommendation, dietary recommendation for Algeria. Fruits and vegetables, high intake fresh fruit and vegetables. We have a lot of fruit and vegetables in North Africa. Olive oil, use olive oil as the main source of fat. Whole grain cereals, if possible. Fish, we have fish in the North Africa. We have a lot of fish in North Africa. Consumption, if possible, incorporate fish several times a week. Legumes and nuts, include legumes such as chickpeas, lentils, and nuts, for example, almonds. And moderation, we Algerians, Moroccan, Tunisians, we like meat. Moderation in red meat, please. Moderation in red meat. And prefer lean meats such as chicken and turkey. Thank you very much.